welcome to another episode of Steph's Box. Fuck yeah.
I feel like I'm at a powwow.
Oh, that's racist.
Already downhill slope.
So, here with a special guest. He's the host of the podcast, Anon. He's a comedian, the Hebrew Sasquatch himself, Mr. Harrison Friedman.
Thank you for having me, Steph.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for telling me about your wonderful animation short that you have coming out.
Oh, yeah.
But no, this is. I'm glad you like my gift because I like to give people gifts on their birthday.
Oh shit! Actually, I should show that off.
Oh shit! You actually should. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the meanwhile.
Oh, you want me to stall them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you tell them
about myself?
You hate Palestine.
Oh wow! Did that pick up? Because I hope that did. I don't hate Palestine. So, do you want me? All right, I'll give a little short biography about myself. I lived in Israel for 9 months. I almost got a. I got this because I know she drinks coffee, and
most ticks. So.
most people I know who smoke cigarettes love coffee, especially in the morning. Like a cigarette and a coffee makes you like the Hulk every morning.
Yeah.
So it's like, why not give her the biggest, blackest cup of coffee I can find?
Well, it's a little brown.
Yeah.
It's a little small.
It's cab driver color. What can I say?
Canceled. Out. Get out. Go back to Raleigh. Or even better yet, go back to Israel.
Oh. You mean Palestine?
Oh, that's where you spent. Okay, yeah.
Oh, you want me to dive into that? Okay.
Yeah. Well, what was your major again in college?
International relations.
International relations.
I wanted to work as a diplomat.
Right.
And I studied Arabic for about 4 years because I got to know
the language of the enemy.
No, the reason I really was curious about it because I knew Hebrew and I knew that it was synonymous with Arabic. Like they were gezer, like carrot are the same thing, apple and stuff like that. Keep on hitting the mic. But I just wanted to, find out about diplomacy. I wanted to try to bring peace in the Middle East, as boring as it was.
That's a pretty noble goal. It's a little lofty.
It is. It was a little out of my reach, but I did teach Arabic students English, and that did kind of feel fulfilling. And I worked in nonprofits, and let me tell you, they call them nonprofits for a reason. You don't make money,
right?
But
somebody makes money.
Somebody makes money. Wherever it is, the Church of I don't know.
Right.
Joel Osteen is probably reaping off my benefits,
There you go. Yeah.
But no, a lot of the nonprofits that I've worked for are Christian-based that help refugees, and unfortunately they're trying to cross the tide into
help them.
Come
to Jesus.
Come to Jesus.
Or go to hell.
Yeah, hey, I know you learned about this guy named Muhammad for 6 years of your life, but here's this white guy named Jesus, and he is white no matter what you say.
Right. Yeah. Not Jewish at all.
Not Palestinian. Not a carpenter.
No,
I don't know any Jewish carpenters.
I know exactly.
I mean, I know my dad's pretty working class and stuff.
I don't even know any Jewish people that are good with hand-eye coordination.
It's weird. You know what? There are some Israeli baskets. There are some athletes, Israeli-wise, and the Mossad and all that spooky stuff.
Krav Maga.
Krav Maga, dude.
Yeah, okay.
I heard from I don't know, it was from podcasts or somewhere. Krav Maga is the fastest style of martial arts to get to someone's wallet.
Well, didn't it originate in the Jewish ghettos during World War II, because they were disarmed by the Gestapo and everything, so it was like
it was, and then I guess it got picked up again by the IDF in the 30s, or the 19, the establishment of Israel, because a lot of people started coming in 36, a lot of Eastern Europeans, so it's weird that the first part of my family, it's weird that I know this shit. I took a Jewish studies course.
Oh, no, it's cool.
So, anyways, Yeah, mostly Eastern European, like, because they were like, oh, communism, they're all coming to kill us, and like fucking Russia and all that.
And
we
they
all
were.
know Russia bad, you know. But yeah, they came and they're like, all right, the Jews are the reason we're, you know, losing money and all that. We're gonna kill them, and they're like, you know, we own farms and shit like that, so they're just fucking us up. And they were like, oh, why don't we just go here, where a bunch of like Arabs are just surrounding. It's not really a state yet.
Right.
It's just like, you know, Britain kind of owns it. You know what I mean? Not to the extent of India, because India had like tea and not opium.
Yeah, opium was pretty big everywhere for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, no, my history is a bit. Well, I've been out of college for so long. You know, feels like forever.
Out of college for so long. You're what? You just turned 24?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I should know a little bit more, but yeah, mostly I don't know where you wanted to go with this, but it was mostly Eastern European Jews that started Krav Maga because they were like, because everyone's after. They're very like not inferior, but like the first guy who was like super militant was like, we gotta fuck these Arabs up. Yeah. Was a guy by the name of Zaev Jabotinsky. We were like, we gotta do, because like everyone's trying to kill, we gotta make our own sovereign state, so no one's gonna bully us anymore. Because it was very you know, an us versus against them, us versus them kind of mentality, rather than like coexisting. Because they were Jews in like Iraq, Afghanistan, and they were fine. But once the establishment of Israel came about, they were like, we do not trust you. You leave and you go there or whatever. They like
got a
kicked
big
them out.
Brother America giving us some weapons to fuck you all up.
Yeah, pretty much. Because then when like America started recognizing, they're like, oh shit, we got to start recognizing them. And at this point, we might as well just kick them out, even though we've been murdering them for like years.
Yeah, and it's all under the pretense of, you know, three religions arguing over whose claim to the mythical Holy Land. Yeah. Right. Which I don't know how practicing you are religiously.
I'll give you an extent of it, man. I feel weird.
It's ma'am.
Ma'am. Yeah. It's
transphobe.
I get a pass. I have long hair. You know what I mean?
Fucking with you. I just like making people feel.
But no.
Canceled.
Please title the episode that. No. What was the question again?
How practicing are you?
How practicing am I? I'm not even anymore. But I do have. I'm like cultural, if that makes any sense. You know what a mezuzah is?
Refresh my memory.
It's all right. It's like the equivalent of like a Santa Maria candle for like Catholics, or whatever. They like that. Like what we have is we have a mezuzah on our door, and that's a little Torah scroll and a metal casing, and we nail it to our door. So we're, you know, the doorway, we kiss it. It blesses the house.
And it's sort of like a Passover thing too, or
it's just everything. You know, we just have it there. You know what I mean?
Hanging a horseshoe over the door.
Essentially, and my mom also has Kabbalah beads, which is Jewish mysticism.
I was going to bring up Kabbalah because I've practiced it. I practiced a little bit back in my occult days. I went down the rabbit hole.
I don't know if you would love or hate my mom.
I don't hate anybody. Like that's not in my heart.
God, I need to fucking take a note out of your book. I don't hate, but like
just take more psychedelics.
Yeah, I guess it take more psychedelics. It's not I don't hate myself too. It's more of a it's a self-aware loathing, if that makes a sense.
Yeah, well you're young. I was the same way. Like I didn't start learning to love myself until just a few years ago. Oh. So yeah.
And you're 72, right?
No, 27,000.
27,000.
I don't know, like how many life cycles can I count through?
What's that in dog years?
Huh?
What's that in dog years?
Dog years, yeah.
Dog years, you know what I'm saying?
Rough.
What was what were we talking about? We just how religious are you? Yeah. One thing I did pick up while I was over there, I will say that I do appreciate that. I think a lot more people should do is there's something called Shabbos. You probably heard of it, where people just don't use their phone on like Friday to Saturday.
Shabbos. It's Shabbos.
Yeah. Where like you're not supposed to use your phone or like get like exchange money, do business. You're just supposed to like chill and talk.
But
to people.
You can hire a Gentile to come over and do that shit for you, because God is okay with the loopholes. Because despite being omnipotent, He's not going to notice that you're, working around.
You know what? I will say the Mormons kind of do shit like that too. I will say, and I don't like it. That's why
Amish.
That's how I noticed I was starting to when I lived over there, I started to go down that route because I had super religious family members that wanted to see me all the time, and I was like, "Why aren't you wearing a yarmulke? Is that the other?" So very pressuring, very condensed, and
Right.
I don't know. Have you grown up in organized religion stuff?
Oh, I was raised Southern Baptist.
Okay.
I actually recently just wrote like almost 5 new minutes on the Bible. Like for example, my immediate family, like my parents weren't very super religious. Like they basically just used youth group as free daycare.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I kind of got the Wiki Bible version of things,
Yeah,
and it
you
was like,
did.
yeah, so Jesus good, Satan bad, right?
Yeah.
And like, okay, who are those guys again? It's like, well, Jesus was God's only son who he sent to earth by raping a married lady so then he could grow up and be tortured to death in order for God to forgive everybody for being born. And Satan's the root of all evil.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if you say so. I mean, why would an
so
adult
weird?
lie to me?
You know what? That's so weird. I feel like it took a lot out of me to like even dissect organized religion as a young kid. My first book I really read that like kind of I wanted to understand Protestant, Christianity.
King James Bible shit.
King James Bible shit.
Which isn't even real Christianity.
It
It's so
isn't.
mistranslated.
I don't know. No, I don't want to fucking know Latin. You know what I mean?
Well, the originals are in like Aramaic or Hebrew, right? Like that's a bit that I do too about well, how's it go? Yeah. Okay. So we got magic fruit, talking snake, incest. Check. All right. Big flood, all animals, one boat. Got it. Burning bush talks to 900-year-old man. Not a problem. God loves you and everybody in the world. Hey, you lost me. Everything was making sense up to that point until you said God loves everybody, because I have it on good authority that he definitely hates fags.
Well, this is the Old Testament, right? Was this new or old where it says Leviticus? What is... Leviticus
was Old Testament, which is funny because the New Testament... New Testament... Yeah, right, yes. But see, that's the extent of the cherry picking, and like... So yeah, I continue with I don't. He does if God had a problem with gay butt sex, why would he put the male G spot like way up in the ass?
There was what was it? What was crazy? Like Abraham trying to murder his son in Genesis.
Oh, I talk about that too.
Yeah.
But so back to the Hebrew thing, like there's always the Bible doesn't say God hates fags, but there's always a Bible Karen that's quoting Leviticus like. Well, it says that a man shouldn't lie with a man as if with a woman. It's like, well, hold on. Actually, that's a mistranslation from the original Hebrew, which says man should not lie with a boy, right? See the difference? And Bible Karen's like, Hebrew? Why the hell would I care what the Jews have to say about it?
Because it was the Old Testament.
Right.
Wow. I actually had no idea. She actually just blew my mind. I was like...
Or like the word Satan.
Wait. Steph. This is in Hebrew saying we shouldn't be pedophiles, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of Jewish pedophiles. Unfortunately.
Well, you look like one now.
Thank you. I appreciate it's the stash problem.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can't really, it's hard to like, I feel like now when I have a mustache at 24, it's not like, it's a cool indie hip look aesthetic. Now I look like a racist mechanic or a pedophile. Like it's either one of the two.
That's
depends on what you're wearing.
That's what's so weird to me about the resurgence of the fucking porn stash, because growing up as a kid in the 80s and 90s, like men that had mustaches like that, it was known that you stay away from them. And definitely don't take candy from them or get into their van.
But it's also like...
Even though they have the best candy.
You know what I feel? I feel like... Imagine being a pedophile with bad candy. Like, you're not really good at... You're not passionate enough.
Yeah.
You're not really...
fucking candy corn. Like, get the fuck out of here.
What are those peanuts? Those circus
peanuts?
That is a bad candy. What's your favorite candy?
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. You know what? I'll tell you something really garbage. I told my girl this. So when I used to do shows like real late at night, when I used to just be out real late at night, I would get Malamars. You remember those? The with marshmallow filled in them.
Right.
And then I would get like Reese's, the big cup.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would get a double shot. And I would take the Malamar. I would take one Malamar, and I would
call that the diabetes special.
I would take it literally. I would take one big Reese's cup, and I just bite into it.
Huh.
I don't know if there's any more garbage that could be combined than peanut butter, marshmallow, dark chocolate, and also milk chocolate.
Yeah.
But yeah,
a shot of what?
And a shot of a double shot espresso.
Espresso?
Yeah, this is when I was like 19 or like
right.
Just making the worst decisions possible.
You don't really drink alcohol, do you?
Nah,
yeah.
I really don't.
That's good. I kind of quit this year. Like I mean I drink socially sometimes. Like
But you can drive home now.
Yeah, most of the time. And like I don't drink at home by myself. Like I don't bring booze into the house.
Wow.
Before it was like I was drinking like 18 beers a day every day. So it was. I know.
What was your beer choice?
Cheap.
It wasn't like
I'm
PBR.
Generation Jewish.
PBR. What was it? Milwaukee's Best.
Yeah.
What was it? Natty Light. What were you drinking?
I liked the Natter Days. The
the
pink like lemonade beer.
Oh, that's definitely like sorority girl like on her way out. You know what I mean? That is definitely the drink of choice.
Do not give a fuck anymore.
Yeah, that's like I'm about to be kicked out of college. It's fine. Cape Fear's right down the road.
Yeah. But, yeah. So, but yeah, like that's cool. Like you're in your 20s and haven't gotten on that train because once I hit 21, I had already been drinking, you know, like for like 6 years at that point. Like not all the time because I couldn't get it all the time, but if it was around, if I could get my hands on it, I would. And as soon as I turned 21, it's like every fucking day.
It was like it was just something to take the stress out, or you thought it was like your friend. You have like a
it tricks you into that. But
yeah.
I got like fucking mental issues that I was self-medicating because I didn't have access to healthcare or anything until Obama. So say what you want about the fucking drones and like bombing hospitals, and deporting
and putting kids in cages, all that. At least we got health insurance.
Yeah,
until we're 26.
It literally saved my life because I had gallstones for like 7 years.
This was in your 20s though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, from my 20s into my early 30s, and I couldn't hold down a job because when I'd have an attack, I'd be laid out for days, and then I'd just get fired over and over. And and I just kept going to the ER, and they're like, "Well, it's not life-threatening, so we can't do anything but send you home." And by the time Obamacare passed, I was able to go to a doctor, and they were like, "Oh shit, your gallbladder's working at like 10%. Like if we don't get this out immediately, you're gonna die. It'll go septic, and fucking so
die from the inside essentially."
Yep, necrosis and all that shit.
Wow, so you had like literally a near-death experience.
Yep, not the only one, but yeah, Obama literally saved my life. So
wow,
fuck you, Republicans.
That's so crazy to think about that. Like you literally got it. I can't. That's so crazy that we don't have. Like I don't. This sounds weird. I don't really care about student loan. I mean, we should happen, but like it's terrible to like ask so much from politicians, but like we literally vote them in. You know what I mean?
It's not asking much. It's our fucking tax money that they're playing games with and lining their pockets with and funding foreign wars.
Like,
with.
How do you afford a suit? You know what I mean? Like some people I know like can't even afford a suit.
Yeah, I can't even afford to go buy like summer clothes. You know, like I'm on SSI, which means that like if you're on any kind of disability, the government dictates that you can't make more than a certain amount of money in a month, like not even having your bank account, or else you lose your Medicaid and lose your benefits. So they force you to stay poor, and then they make it difficult to get out of that situation, because if you take a full-time job, boom, your benefits are gone. But with the way that the workforce is, like the way work is these days, it's all gig economy shit. There's nothing stable enough to risk leaving right? Like I've got homeostasis, right?
Yeah.
Like not homostasis.
But
well, some of that too.
We have to. I think what it is we have to just wait for the economy to just fail. And I mean, like I know this. There's a lot of stock markets right now. Where like it has to crash soon. It has to crash because no one's gonna pay $400K. Everyone's just gonna. If they're smart, they should just be renting now. If they're in renting.
Renting?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Obviously
fucking
it's
people
bad.
over though too. Like, I was just. Do you ever watch John Oliver? Um,
A little bit. I don't. I mean, yeah. I don't watch him religiously. I don't really. Is he on HBO Max or something?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm like
Last week tonight. Oh, basically, like, oh, I fucking love that show. He basically picked up where Jon Stewart left off when he left the Daily Show. Like, I don't hate on Trevor Noah, but like, it's just not the fucking same. Like, he's
it feels very. I don't know what the term. It just doesn't feel very. Um, I don't know. It's so weird that, and it's. I still don't kind of like it when a outside perspective still criticizes America as a comedian.
yeah.
It still feels weird to me.
Well,
But
to be
like
fair, John Oliver is an American.
he has citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
Does no one have citizenship too?
I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
I should say if he's got citizenship because it's. I'm not saying like you can't say shit if you can't vote here, but like if you.
What about felons? Can they
No,
say shit?
no. I talked about this. I got in a huge argument with my mom about this.
Oh, really?
I was like, he's like, if I go to prison, like, do you think I should have the right to vote? And she's like,
Yeah.
no, because you did something bad. You should suffer for it. I was like, Jesus. And it just
yeah,
I don't know. Some
that's-
old people are like really fucking heartless.
That's the fucking that's such a big problem is
Sorry for calling you old, mom.
this focus on punitive for everything. Like, oh, you like to alter your own brain chemistry on your own fucking terms in the privacy of your own home. Sorry, you don't have bodily autonomy in this country. Fucking prison. And the thing is, the reason why they're so quick to throw people in prison and the fact is, like, every single citizen of this country commits at least one felony a day without even knowing it. Yeah. But the thing is that slavery never ended because there's a stipulation in the Constitution that says if you're in prison, you don't need compensation.
Property.
Yeah, like your state property, they'll just work you for free. And the prison industry, aside from them raking in fucking money from incarcerating people, the labor that they have prisoners do racks in about somewhere around the tune of $18 billion a year.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah.
Did you watch the documentary 13?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I heard like a lot of things that like they're literally making like Victoria's Secret underwear and shit like that for like 13 cents an hour. Which is crazy. I can imagine like how like sad you would be as like a just as like not even like a heterosexual straight guy just like fucking literally sewing woman's lingerie and you haven't touched a woman in like I don't know 10, 20 years. You're on like death row. I feel like that's cruel and unusual punishment.
It is. Well, yeah, that's up there with solitary confinement. Which
Yeah.
Up until that was considered cruel and unusual punishment in the 1700s and the 1800s. Like it wasn't
it's
until
very medieval.
Yeah, it wasn't until the 20th century that it was like, how could we really break these motherfuckers? Right? Like, like how can we?
No windows, nothing.
Nothing. I've been in solitary before.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, for a few days on end, and it fucking.
Were you went to prison?
Not prison, but I've been to county and city lockup. Like, I've been arrested a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah, just even fucking 24 hours in solitary fucks with your head. Like, yeah, I was in like 4 days.
Ooh.
And
they gave you food through the slot and all that.
Yeah, if you could call it food, like there's like dried piss and shit on the walls. It's just like cinder block, you know, like there's, you get like, well, before they'll throw you in a tank and leave you there for days before they even book you in sometimes. Like, well, this was in Georgia. And, so it's like, you don't even get an hour out of your cell a day or anything. It's just, yeah, it's, I knew a guy in California who did years in solitary. Like, just they left him in for years. And
did he ever get out of like prison?
Yeah. I met him after he had just gotten out.
How's he doing now? What's he doing?
I don't know. I only hung out with him like maybe twice.
Because you can't be normal after that. It's like kind of like going to war too. Like they were like killing people in Vietnam and shit like that, and just to like know like people that served in Vietnam, they were like All right, I had this principal in elementary school. His name was Mr. Forsyth. Mr. Forsyth just for like kindergarten.
Mr. Forskin.
No, he was like yelling at like kindergarten. Hey, quit climbing! If you don't stop climbing, you gotta get like he's just going off on like 6th and 7th graders. Like I was like they're like talking to them like they're privates.
Yeah.
I was like, this is who gave you this job?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that thing is like you are not ready to be back.
Well, I don't think combat vets ever really are.
Yeah, like it's so hard to reacclimate you.
Yeah, there's no integration back into society. Same goes with felons like who have done like hard time. Yeah, there's no programs to acclimate people back into society, and it's pretty telling of our country that we treat war vets about the same as we treat ex-cons.
I will say this: when I was a salesman, especially as a door-to-door salesman, people view me as cops in their neighborhoods.
They what?
The people view me as cops in their neighborhoods. Like I look like I'm cruising around and shit, and I look like I'm bothering people or whatever. But the nicest people, honestly, have been like felons or people who were in jail, or like like people that were in jail, and a lot of Indians because I worked in like Morrisville area.
I don't know where that is.
Like Wake County.
Do you mean Red Dot Indian? Or
Red Dot.
Yeah.
Customer Secret Service. No, jeez.
I'm Cherokee.
South
I'm allowed
Indian.
to.
Oh, okay.
I have a lot of
powwow shit. I said that earlier.
Oh no, this isn't a Native American instrument. This is just.
It's your country,
yeah. A hippie left this at my house.
Oh, nice. Speaking of Native Americans, I have just a little tidbit I'd love to share with you.
What's that?
My father was very good friends with this guy. He told me to call him Uncle Tony. Right?
Uncle Tony.
He was an Italian man from, I believe, Brooklyn. I believe East New York, Brooklyn.
Did he make your problems disappear?
No, he's a magician.
Well, no,
I know. I'm sort of a magician. I make things go away. I work in waste management. No, it wasn't that kind of Italian. He was Uncle Tony was a guy who thought he was Native American. He got like how like weeaboos.
Thought he was.
What? Thought he was. But I think it's like those like one of those 23andMe's where you get like 1% Cherokee or something. It's like when like white guys get like super into like anime or something like that. It's like they get super into like like waifus or whatever it is. His thing was
hentai.
Oh Jesus!
Always shopping at the Asian seafood market.
Really?
No.
Is that a euphemism?
Only for sexy time.
That's a euphemism. Oh Jesus!
Octopussy. Sorry, totally off track. Yeah.
No, anyway, so Uncle Tony was.
Tony.
Your rips or little just side comments are getting me right now. But Tony would come in and say, like I was gonna hang you on a hook because he apparently got like I don't know what his housing situation was, but he stayed with my dad for like I don't know 2 weeks, a week or so at a time. He was going back and forth wherever he was, and Tony would take me to flea markets and say the most raunch. I was like maybe 11 or 10, and he was like, "You like girls yet? You ever see?" He would just say, "You ever see pussy?" And I was like, "What?" I'm 10. And he was like, "Is he that girl?" I was like, "Yeah." Want to have sex with her? And he's like, "I guess." And she's like, "Yeah, you do." And then he just
that's creepy.
It was. He just said, "Yeah, you do," and then just kept going. And then he says, "Hey, you misbehave. You fucking do something you're not supposed to. I'm gonna hang you on a hook." He just say that to me constantly. You're not doing your homework. I'm gonna hang you on a hook. I was like, "I don't live here anymore, Tony."
That's fun.
But he was Native American as hell. Like you would have like what is it? The dream catchers. He had like tapered or whatever the jackets,
the tassels,
and I wore a hat and everything.
Denim tuxedo.
Literally.
Or Canadian tuxedo.
Canadian tuxedo.
Turquoise everywhere.
And turquoise everywhere. He had a headdress like hung up like over his head.
Oh, what the fuck?
But he was. I don't know if he was Native American or not. That's the thing. I think
he was Italian.
It could be stolen. I don't know. You know what I mean? He could find out there was a grandfather or something.
Right.
I don't know what it is, but it was like, yeah. Sorry.
Oh no! I like that. But it was kind of disturbing when I went to the Cherokee reservation for the first time, which like for me that's kind of like a Jew going to
Israel. It's kind of like your Wakanda.
Yeah, and but seeing like Cherokee dancing around in headdresses for the fucking tourists was like messed up.
Oh, I fucked you with you? Yeah.
Well, because Cherokee don't wear headdresses like that.
Okay.
Those were the Plains tribes, like the Sioux and the
Really?
and the, yeah. That's not Cherokee wore like turbans with like a single feather and shit.
I will say this: I don't think Tony was wearing it. He was more like keeping it like in like a very like this is important to me kind of deal.
Right,
like he's not. It's like
right next to his cigar store Indian.
Yeah. he did look like a. It's so fucked up. He did look like a dude that would just stand really still in a tobacco shop.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. Like now that I think about it, is like, oh my god, if you put two and two together, they look, it's just that come to life. It's like Night at the Museum type of situation.
Oh, right.
But that's the only other.
He was a street performer, like painted himself silver.
But I remember that. Oh, I heard stories about him because I don't know if he's. I think he's still alive. But what I heard is he also used to send guns. It's probably very legal. He used to send guns to the IRA, the Irish.
Right.
What was it? What's Resistance Army or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd send that during like
Irish
the 80s.
Revolutionary Army.
Yeah, he would send guns to the IRA, and then he became a cop in Miami in the 1980s.
Oh shit!
Imagine what kind of shit he got into.
I'm thinking of Harvey Keitel and Bad Lieutenant.
a lot of white snow on the streets.
Yeah.
That's all you can say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of cops, like, did you hear about what happened at the New Hanover Library on Tuesday?
No, hit me up on the local news stuff.
Okay. So, well, I didn't even hear about it from local news. I saw it on Reddit. So it's made national news. But apparently Wilmington has its own chapter of the Proud Boys now.
Wow.
And, yeah, there was
no idea.
There was a LGBT sponsored book reading at the library for kids, and no, there were no drag queens fucking there. Not that matters, but and they were only reading like 2 books, but they had like arts and crafts, and it was like a family.
Oh, happy Pride, by the way.
Yeah, fuck it. I'm always proud. I don't need a goddamn month.
It's like Black history. You just
Yeah, like take a page from Morgan Freeman about what he thinks about Black History Month. It should just be.
Sorry, I want to go back to the news. I'm so sorry.
Okay, yeah. So, like they had arts and crafts. It was a family event. They did 2 books that are like 30 years old, like Dad and Dada, and what's her name has 2 mommies. And like old school fucking inclusive books. They're not talking about sex or anything. Just like different family configurations. So the Proud Boys showed up, and they were outside like pounding on the windows and like holding up signs and screaming. And then the cops showed up and shaked hands with them and like hanging out.
Because y'all need water.
And Proud Boys, of course, are all masked up, which ironic considering
the anti-masker. Yeah.
And then the cops led the Proud Boys, escorted them into the library to the private room at the back where the event was being held, and let them in. And they're like screaming and cursing, slinging slurs, threatening the kids and with violence, and the parents, and this was an event for kids 7 years old and younger.
Wow.
And the witness.
Imagine like George Bush reading to kids. That's what I'm thinking about. Somebody just reading to small children.
Yeah, while Katrina's like destroying New Orleans, and the red dog.
And then you just hear the N-word.
Oh shit.
You're just hearing the worst things possible while you're like, this, I believe, or what was it, the little engine that could? You're hearing that?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but so back to the story. All right, so by all witnessed accounts, they said that the police escorted the Proud Boys in and refused to, stop them. And they're, screaming in a library, which everybody knows you don't fucking scream in a library, public building or not. And so...
Let's start bringing the yoga to air horn. Let's start bringing an air horn to yoga.
Oh, yeah. Hi, yoga! Drunken donkey pose! Yeah, that sounds relaxing.
Alright, anyways.
Yeah, so, by all witness accounts, the cops were being super friendly with the Proud Boys, and the Proud Boys were very intimidating, very aggressive, and the witnesses felt very threatened. The sheriff's office released a public statement saying, the sheriff said, I took an oath to uphold, not to uphold opinions, but to uphold the law, and there were no laws being broken that day. And it's like, well, that's funny. The cops broke up a block party where my band was playing like 2 months ago for disturbing the peace. That's a law, right? Disturbing the peace. And it's like First Amendment rights don't protect threats or incitement of violence, right? That's not protected speech. That's against the fucking law. And the thing is, like, North Carolina has a very suspicious law surrounding police body cam footage.
Really?
And yeah, like, they will not release any footage unless it's ordered by a judge.
How are our judges?
Well, the Supreme Court is fucked.
Oh, no, but I don't. Like, Roy's been. You know what? I have no problem with our governor.
Totally.
He did fuck.
I'm thinking about writing him about this situation to try and put some pressure to get that body cam footage released,
for that,
or to like crack down. Like, if the Proud Boys are in cahoots with the police, and some people have told me that they have it on good authority that there are members of the department that are in the Proud Boys.
Wow. No, I've heard terrible things about women. So,
yeah,
I've heard terrible things.
Well, I'm
is.
supposed to have Tim Joyner on the podcast here soon. So,
oh shit!
Yeah,
he knows a lot about the police.
Oh, yeah, and about the judges you're asking about.
Okay.
So
yeah, nice. No, I just there's a lot of. It's weird because my mom became very pro-police because the IDF wanted to train with the cops, which is basically like, why would you give a tank to a toddler? That's essentially, the metaphor that
somebody
I'm
with
using.
a high school education that has like 8 weeks of training.
They don't need Krav Maga. I'm gonna be real,
Yeah.
They're taking down, what are you gonna take down, a heroin addict off the side of, what is it, Gear Street? Come on.
Nah, 12-year-olds.
Yeah,
12-year-olds
with the airsoft guns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, no, but like they got invested in the IDF or whatever. Like, you can fucking look this up. They're like, oh, the IDF's gonna train with the cops and it's gonna be free. It's gonna be used government money or whatever. And they're like, that's free. But people were a lot of leftists, and I don't blame them. They're like, no, we can't let this happen. And my mom's like, that's anti-Semitic. And I was like, no, it's not.
Wait. How is it anti-Semitic?
Because Israel's a Jewish state, and any criticism of the Jewish state, or letting cops be funded by the IDF at all.
IDF.
Israeli Defense Force.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, ones that catch rocks professionally.
Right. So this is like the police training and everything that was Israel thing.
Yeah, Israel was like,
I thought you were still talking about.
We will train you to shoot children more efficiently.
Although, like, one of my best friends is super Jewish. He's not practicing, but he goes to Israel every year, every summer.
What does he think about the whole? Or what do they think about the whole?
The whole what?
The thing that's going on.
What thing?
The thing that's going on a lot. Palestinian signing?
The thing that hasn't appeared in any news outlet for years. Well, I don't know, like he.
I mean, you don't have to speak for him. You know what I mean?
Right. He's a very complex individual with very nuanced perspectives on things. So I don't think I could do his justice.
Let him die.
Yeah. Well, okay. So back to like you lived in Palestine.
I will say this. I lived in Tel Aviv. I lived in Jerusalem. And I kept going back and forth to Hashmonim and Hanaf, which are two different areas. Hashmonim is a settlement out on occupied territory, and Hanaf is Jerusalem, which is kind of I think it's neutral. Jerusalem's kind of neutral to people. It's still a contested area. It's more weirder UN wise because they're like, I guess it's the America says you're a capital, and like I don't know. I think Russia says it's the capital. Wait, I don't know because they hate us. They hate Jews. They just they're like Iran but with more power.
Yeah. Well, I mean, America's going that way now.
I guess. Oh yeah, after this,
Well,
definitely.
Yeah, and the Supreme Court has already said, well, now that we established that, the next thing they're going after are LGBT people, us rainbow folk.
Yeah, and they're gonna. I hope people are gonna do something about it.
Yeah. Well, I've heard, and I haven't verified it yet, but a couple of people have said that Rory Cooper made a public statement that North Carolina is going to be a safe haven for abortion rights.
That's good. Yeah, I saw that too.
Okay.
The one thing I was about to say that he did one thing he dropped the ball on was believing in that woman that accused the Duke lacrosse team. The one thing he messed up in.
Oh, I don't know.
I forget her name, but I remember it was when I was like real young. I was in elementary school. This woman, a stripper, got accused of, accused like all these like white lacrosse, like Duke, like when you picture like Wall Street evil, you would picture a Duke lacrosse team, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just white guys, good jaw lines, and like clean cut. So
Aryan,
essentially, or mullets, whatever. But anyways, this woman comes and does like wants strips for the team. Is supposed to strip, but she gets there, and the guys are like, we want a white stripper, we want a white one, and she gets so mad that she just goes to the police and reports them. And claims they raped her. Yep.
Oh, okay.
And everyone,
that's kind of fucked.
Yeah, and it's so fucked up. It's really sad that like there's like I hate to be like that one guy. I don't even want to even sound like a men's rights activist, but the whole thing with Johnny Depp that just happened, I feel like our society is kind of realizing that there is gray area in situations where I'm like, you know what I mean? Like
Me Too is very important, but I think there's a little bit of overreach.
Yeah,
and I think that's going on with a lot of progressive movements, like even like the LGBT.
Really?
To an extent. I mean, like policing how people use language, right? And I've said this a couple times. I was banned on a subreddit for being a transphobic fascist. Yeah, no shit.
Well, you're also older too. You're an older trans person. Yeah. And I guess there will always
I'm like the cutoff year for millennials, so I'm like the oldest, 1981. So.
Yeah, it was also like a very, I don't know if it was a different time to be gay, but like you're kind of like a beacon of hope for like kids who want to come out, when they're young adult. You know what I mean? It's very, I don't know. It's hard to like shun like older queer people, to me at least. As like if you're like an older person, I feel like because there is the perspective to get. But I don't know. Continue how you got banned.
Oh. Yeah, well, because I was talking about, I commented about that trans swimmer, what's her, Leah Thomas, yeah. And I was commenting on the fact that she was competing with men for like years up to that point, and not doing great, and did a year of testosterone blockers, right? So it wasn't even on estrogen, just blocking testosterone to lower that enough to switch to the women's team. Immediately did in a year.
I had no idea.
And aside from that being like sketch as fuck, like I would never deny somebody's internal experience because there's no way to verify. But it's not a good look. And then but to top it off, like she still exclusively dates women, but was in the team women's locker room all the time with her dick just flopping around, and like her teammates, made some complaints like, like I don't want to be transphobic, but it makes me uncomfortable. And it's like, well, yeah, no shit. Like just because you're a woman doesn't mean you get to subject cis women to your fucking lady dick, like unsuspecting, like.
Yeah. I mean, do you say something heads up, or do you just,
Well,
it's like an old guy at the Y, that kind of energy.
I wouldn't put myself in that situation in the first place.
Is it not a level of insecurity? It's a confidence thing. I feel like it's a confidence thing too, because when you're out, obviously I could never imagine how hard it is to come out and transition and all this other stuff, but to just be like, Yeah, great game. Oh, by the way, I'm transitioning.
Well, I don't think anybody was surprised that she was transitioning because just anatomically and physique wise, it's again a little bit suspect.
And you could be like a lawyer, kind of discussing this or analyze it because you sound like you've done your research on Leah Thomas.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I try to research shit before and by research, like people use that term very loosely nowadays. It's like, oh yeah, I saw a documentary over the weekend. So it's like it's research.
Yeah, just to be somewhat informed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I try to look at multiple sources and look at the bibliography and shit and use Snopes and fact checking and and shit like that. But yeah, so I was making that I made that point, and then they just like banned me and said, like we don't this is a safe space. We don't appreciate transphobes and bigots. And I'm like, if you actually read what I posted, I am a trans woman, so like, like I think I have a right to speak on it. And they were like, yeah, go watch some more Fox News, you fascist. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm so fucking left that there's not even a political party that represents my views. Yeah. like Bernie Sanders is a little too conservative for my tastes, right? And
doesn't he have like another home or something? I found out he has like multiple houses, which is, as a Jew, very smart.
Yeah.
Oh, about property, you can charge them on rent,
Oh, dude, the house. Yeah, my Jewish friend in New York is actually a real estate broker there. So yeah, he makes some money. I kind of want to get him on and interview him about like the way. Yeah, going back, you mentioned it's smarter to rent, but
right now at least.
Yeah, and well, back to that, like I was going to say about John Oliver, like I was watching a show, and he did a whole episode on the housing crisis, the second housing crisis, because we already had one in fucking 2008.
It was such a fucked up way. You would make like shitty banks, like, yeah, we're gonna refinance your house for you. Yeah, we're gonna just keep refinancing it.
And yeah, adjustable rate mortgages, all of that shit started switching, and but yeah,
because it's like what the government says to like banks is like, hey, make it so we're low income people can actually have a home.
Fuck you.
Make it your own property. Okay, we will. Hey, other banks, little banks, do this thing. I promise it'll work.
Yeah. Well, it's like hedge funds and like it's basically just smart psychotic people manipulating the system for personal gain. And but on Oliver's show, on that episode, there's even footage of the CEO of what's it called, like Wolf Property or something, like one of the biggest like real estate companies in the country, and he's on camera talking to his board members, like, well, so this inflation and upcoming recession, like this is the perfect climate to really press tenants and get as much as we can out of them, like squeeze them. We can squeeze them, and then that'll let us like reset the market at a higher level. So that's fucking driving people out of their homes, renters. Here in Wilmington too. Like I know so many people that are struggling to find places to live.
I bet the price of rent has increased.
And my brother's house that he's been in for years and years and years, they're like doing a bunch of renovations, and it looks like they're gearing up to, because it's been kind of rent controlled up until now. And
do landlords monitor how many people like live in like a house? Because like
generally, yeah.
Up too, because then you're like, hey, I want to just all pitch in $40 or $50 with like 20.
Right.
I know it sounds fucked up to do, but like with this housing crisis.
Oh, people are gonna start using Murphy beds again.
Yeah.
Like
Murphy
beds.
Stooges. A lot of air mattresses is gonna be popping out.
Yeah. Well, the fact that it's normalized for tent cities to be popping up everywhere is so fucked. And so not only not only is the real estate market pushing lower income people out, or even lower middle class people out. Trying to like there's a affordable housing crisis too because of rampant NIMBY. Not in my backyard. Yeah, it's like well, yeah, poor people should have places to live, but they're kind of uncouth. I don't want them near me, right? So build it somewhere else. And
like they redistrict fucking. They do this all the time with homeless people in Greyhound buses. Like here, we're giving $50.
Oh yeah. And when I was in LA, when I moved to Ventura County, there's a lot of like natural spaces and open areas and large parks and stuff, and there were homeless, like trying to chill there, and Ventura police like cracking heads and like, bus ticket, sending them all straight to Skid Row. Yeah, so homeless out there is fucking ridiculous.
I'm so surprised what they're gonna do if they're gonna if I'm the Illuminati, there's got to be like a homeless area or like a place.
Yeah, it's called prison.
Prison, other than prison, because you can't like all jail. I mean, you have to build.
Slave
you have to build more prisons, or there's like heroin addicts, which it is illegal to use heroin, but like
except for when prescribed by a doctor.
Shout out Sackler family.
Yeah.
Shout out Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Shout out opioid crisis.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yay, fentanyl.
No, I was talking about this with someone at a car dealership because I was waiting to get my Honda fixed because I'm middle class. We were talking about what's killing the opioid crisis or what's killing the middle class more. And I was thinking, is school shootings or the opioid crisis? The opioid crisis, no doubt.
Yeah, numbers wise, yeah.
Numbers wise, yeah. Because school shootings, I've never been at one. Maybe I've been close, but like they've always been not my school, wherever I've been.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just out of luck, and the mental illness is not really ran through there in terms of,
Well, that's the thing, like
kids and guns and shit like that.
Well, that's the thing. There's a mental health crisis too. That's even the World Health Organization recognizes mental health, epidemic, and but we still stigmatize mentally ill.
Yeah, we do.
Like, Steph stigma.
Yeah. We don't. What was it? We don't. We just prescribe things to people. We don't actually we don't actually put therapy. We don't actually immerse them in different programs and things like that. That is a thing. We've lost control of pharma, like big pharma.
Oh well, yeah. All corporations really. Citizens United fucked us. Fucked this country up.
That's the bank.
Now, Citizens United basically gives corporations personhood, so that they have the rights of a single person.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that was passed in what, fucking it was passed years ago. I don't know. I feel.
I could check my phone. Just want to see what time it is. Ooh. I did not hear good news. My lady got burnt at the beach, so I will have to be picking up aloe and some safety pins.
Oh, fun!
Yeah,
you got lobster girlfriend now.
I guess so, man. Can't touch her. Might as well just put a burqa on her.
Oh shit. Well, to be fair, that makes every woman attractive.
Oh, what, putting a burqa on? Oh yeah, you never know. Just a lot of mystery, dude. That's the one thing I will say.
Yeah.
But I never understood that about those culture. Obviously, it's supposed to be modesty and all that. But
no, it's about control.
Unfortunately, especially with we shame a lot of people. Post 9/11, we shamed people. We have Mormons have multiple wives too. You know what I mean?
Well, technically, that's against the law, and that's why a lot of them picked up and moved to Mexico.
Really?
Yeah, they have a whole fucking
I think you told me this before.
Mexico.
I think
Mitt Romney is from that family that left Utah to Mexico to continue to practice polygamy.
Wow.
Which I am all for polyamory in its modest form, ethical non-monogamy. But polygamy is a different fucking
Yeah,
story.
you're supposed to do it. It's the God narrative really freaks you out. It really should freak anyone out. Really, it's speaking on a third party. You really have no recollection of. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's all about the perpetuation of patriarchal, power structures. Like so there's one man who gets to have his choice of wives, and he lords over all of them, and they don't have a say in the matter.
Yeah, true.
If it was switched around where it was a woman who had multiple husbands, big fucking slut. She's just too horny for dick. Just too many dicks. Like, that's disgusting.
I mean, if they all have a kid with them, we one for each of them.
Yeah. Too many fucking kids.
I mean, I'm surprised there's not a religion like that where it's like
Catholicism.
Good point. Good point, but it's only monogamous, so it's not.
Right.
It's making it's like you have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
You have to keep having sex. I think that's why Catholicism's so cool. I'm just kidding. It's not.
What's it?
I'm not Catholicism's so cool.
Oh, right.
In parentheses, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool in the way that, like, I'm not gonna say this on mic. I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it's for the best stuff.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Like,
I don't know if Catholicism is bad, but like it is. I will say this.
Oh, I'll say it out loud. It's fucking bad.
Like a priest, the whole molestation thing.
I thought a joke about that.
Yeah, like my dad was my grandmother was Catholic. She was Irish Catholic, and my dad is technically half Irish Catholic. So that technically means, because my mom is Jewish, it means that I could have been molested, but I just complained about it the whole time.
That's funny. No, I mean like I'm not anti-faith, right? Like I'm a spiritual person, and I have my own forms of belief and worship, and like connection to things that are beyond the scope of our current scientific understanding. But when you start codifying people's behavior, it all comes down to fucking control and manipulation, and like the Catholic Church. Well, yeah, that's guilt and fear are powerful fucking levers to pull on people, right? Especially back when people were vastly illiterate, except for the religious caste, right? Yeah. So just prey on people's ignorance.
So it's very. Oh yeah, no, that's. I was talking about this with. What was it, real quick, with technically my girlfriend's sister. We were talking about the Salem witch trials. So apparently there was a lot of LSD back in the day, or there was like a plant that people would eat. It
was ergot, the mold that grows on rye.
Yeah.
And so it's suspected that it was a mass ergot poisoning that caused
people to freak out, and they're like, I see demons and witches. And it's like, oh, she's a witch. And it's like, why? And it's because she showed me her pussy once, or whatever it is going to be. Like, she's a witch because, I took too much psychedelics. So
I don't think that's a good explanation.
I know.
Because psychedelics actually turn on, like, suppress your sense of self, like the part in your brain that's responsible for ego.
Oh.
And so that's why people describe feeling connected to everything, and it's we're all
ego
one.
Death.
Right. So like psychedelics don't promote murder and violence, right? Like, but religion does, right? You can't blame the Spanish Inquisition on fucking rye bread,
Sure. I was, I had no idea. I never really thought of it. I like that. I thought it was just like guys were tripping. One girl was like, "Hey, I want to fucking." Like, you're wit. They're all like fucking Puritans. So they're like, "No, we can't. We're not married." Because they're.
Or they did fuck and then had to destroy the evidence.
The baby or whatever it is.
It's just like current GOP projection, right? Like, how many fucking sex scandals are there going on in the GOP? Like, how many sexual assault allegations are there currently against Trump, just to himself? Not to mention like Matt Gaetz and like 17, 18. Like one of them was dropped because the plaintiff, who was like 15 at the time, that she ended up on Epstein's fucking plane.
Oh shit!
And and she was intimidated into dropping the case, like she was getting death threats and everything. And but so while they're all doing this, and like the Republican governor of Tennessee is trying to get the age restriction for marriage removed, and so while this is all going on, they're pointing the stop doing that.
What? I'm yawning.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, you want me to yawn away?
Yeah, just
Don't yawn. I got it.
No, like have more energy. Be excited.
Be excited. Got it.
Be excited. No.
Yeah.
But the whole time they're doing this shit, it's like, oh, these fucking trainees are trying to fuck kids.
Oh,
you know, and
try to flip it on you.
Yeah. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like there are like pedophiles in office, but like it's not. There's pedophiles everywhere. It sucks when they have like money and shit because then they can like cover it up.
Right.
That's the difference between like, I don't know, Joe that your parents say don't go there.
Yeah.
Or like a guy that's in office. You know what I mean? You're definitely gonna meet him and he's definitely gonna like sniff your hair. Unfortunately. But, like,
Yeah. Or there is that allegation that Biden forcibly like fingered one of his aides against her will.
Shit! I had no idea.
Oh, it got wiped from the internet.
Fuck.
But see, I got that like retard memory, like photographic memory. So
sick.
Same with like Mike Pence at white supremacy rallies. Like when Trump was running for office, there were pictures of Mike Pence giving a Hitler salute.
No way.
Yeah. All scrubbed from the fucking internet.
He also, there's this one famous thing that Mike Pence said that I think is hilarious. He said that
no homo.
No homo. He said, don't tell anyone. That's what he said. What did he say? He said, I don't trust myself around another woman unless my wife is in the room.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's like an alpha male thing to do, but like I can't trust. I'll get pussy.
Yeah.
That's like,
yeah.
How much confidence do you have to have as a man to be like, I will have sex if my wife isn't there?
Yeah. Well, again that's overcompensation.
That's Donald Trump shit.
Well, and he's so fucking in the closet. He's finding Christmas presents. Okay. No, he even said that.
That's a really good line.
Thanks. Yeah, no, he even said that he struggled with temptation and went through conversion therapy, and that it worked. So
it did not work.
No,
it did not work.
No, so yeah, that's.
He likes to wrestle too much. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
He likes to wrestling with his friends a little too much.
But that's why he's so anti-gay on everything. And I just saw some stats the other day that they analyzed all of the porn watching habits and statistics by region and by political affiliation, just like regional numbers, and it indicated that Republicans watch way more fucking trans porn than Democrats.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, that's because they keep it hush hush, but I mean I've encountered some before, and they tend to be like married straight guys that want to DL under the radar. But see that's why the narrative goes to anytime there's trans people around or like with kids, like that's why the GOP automatically assumes something sexual, right? Because to them we're a fetish. We're just sexual objects to them. That's how I see.
No, you're a sexual being, but you're not a sexual object.
Right.
That's what they got messed up about people.
Yeah, but we're like a secret shame. We're like fat material behind closed doors. But it's massively hypocritical.
I know. I understand, and it sucks. I will say that. Like I've said this on stage, and I feel like people took it the wrong way. I used to do a lot of charity work. I used to fuck a lot of fat chicks, but they're doing the charity work. I would say something like that. It's like they're the philanthropist. That was the
full-on rapist.
The full-on rapist. Yeah. No, man. It's just people. I think from porn they fetishize too much. I feel like it's good for anyone to just take a step back from it because they sexualize people way too much.
Oh, I had a hookup once, and this guy just like randomly spit in my mouth.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? I'm like about to throw up. I'm like, what the hell's the matter with you?
Yeah.
Like
I would hate to be that guy.
Yeah.
Like to be like, oh wait, this is okay? Fuck.
Yeah.
I would be ashamed of myself.
Or it's like guys just assume like choking's okay.
Yeah.
Like and Yeah, actually, Bill Maher was talking about it on his last show. About he had an
He
author.
loves Palestine.
Huh?
Great Palestine fan.
Oh.
Big Zionist, dude.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
No, he's very staunchly atheist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, his movie Religulous.
Oh, yeah, I've seen parts of it, I think.
Yeah. Which I think that shit's great. Like I at least like I was
You
an
grew up with
atheist.
Bill Maher very early. I don't know him as well.
Yeah, no, I remember him from Politically Incorrect in the '90s. Yeah, and yeah, so I
thought he said the N-word and got away with it.
Huh?
I think didn't he say the N-word and get away with it? I'm pretty sure he did that.
Yeah, well,
that's pretty.
I mean,
I'm not saying
so
that's
did fucking
cool.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
so did Howard
I guess
Stern. Like, so, I mean,
Howard Stern said it too. I mean, Kramer. You know, I call it Kramering yourself, but he survived from being Kramered. Surprisingly enough.
Kind of eventually.
Kramer yourself real hard.
You know? He, well, I think, yeah, like the difference between Michael Richards and Joe Rogan is, you know, Michael Richards was
said it out of like hate
in a club and was being heckled by two black guys in the audience up at the front row, and fucking just lost control. Like, and I've seen you hate fuck more than one audience before. Like, I was just talking with Brad about that time that you got into it with a physics teacher. Like that shit still cracks me up.
Yeah, I was like, is she about to hit me or whatever? I said just like real like. I don't know if it was a rise. It was just I had like half-baked premises.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm here to just. Bars are a place where you work things out, and I've had so many bombs in my day. I'm not afraid to admit it, like at all. But continue where you're going.
I've seen you bomb, like epically bomb, like which is always.
Have you ever seen me do well? Is the question.
I'm not sure.
Come on, Mike. Come on, Mike.
What?
I want to talk to him more.
Oh, I was going to qualify that.
Oh,
and
very
say,
sweet.
Yeah. No, I've seen you. Yeah.
I left myself open.
Yeah, I've seen you do decent. Yeah, like but
thanks.
But like, what I was gonna say is I always found it interesting that like because I think we started stand up approximately at the same time. I think you had some months on me, but you always had like this swagger and this confidence, and like you had all of the motions down, like you came across.
I just didn't know what a punchline was.
There we go.
Well, I did know what a punchline was, but it wasn't a good one.
Right. Well, yeah, like you said, you had a lot of premises, and you had the comedian swagger.
Yeah.
And
I was literally doing setups, and I had no idea. I was like, I need a punchline for this. What could be it? And I was just thinking. I was like thinking on stage.
Yeah.
And I would get like attitude just from the setup, and I was like, oh fuck, this is gonna be a bad time.
Yeah. That's the thing. I had Nancy Witter on a couple episodes ago, and I don't know if you ever met Nancy.
I have met Nancy.
Okay. Yeah. And we were talking about it. And for some reason in this town, like there's a lot of people that started the open mics with this idea that you just get up and just riff off the top of your head and be conversational about it, and like so it seems more natural, and it's like, well, yeah, you kind of want it to come across that way, but it's a fucking magic trick. All of those words are written and prepared, and you have a very distinct and clear plan before you get up there.
Yeah. I've written a full joke before. You know, I want people to make that very clear. Like I've actually written. I have notebooks. There's evidence of it.
No, I believe it.
You believe me? Thank you, Steph.
No,
I've been doing this for like 4 years now. So I feel
okay.
like
You have been doing it longer than me.
Don't remind me.
Almost twice as long.
Don't remind me. But I love it. I'll probably die doing it. But I just bombing at a mic is still better than like not doing comedy, if that makes any sense. I obviously would like to get better at reading rooms. And I think I have been to an extent, but I want to get even stronger at it. And I feel like if it's is it focusing on the writing is there's so many aspects, and I'm like, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Just have fun. just, you know, it's not like I want to walk on eggshells. It's like, oh, I hope these people like me. No, I don't.
That.
Yeah, and that's where that confidence comes
fuck
in.
The audience.
Where I'm like, I don't want to fuck the audience, but I'm also doing this because I love it.
Right.
And
see,
if I get you to laugh, great. If I don't, I'll do it next time. And that's always been my philosophy.
Yeah.
And I'll probably not get booked for that reason. I probably am not a really big like market. I have good jokes. I would love to sell them to somebody, but like it's never gonna fucking happen.
I'd love to hear some of your stuff that you've been doing since I've seen you.
Oh, I have YouTube videos and everything.
Oh, cool,
I got stuff on Instagram. If you want me to plug stuff, I can do that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. What was I gonna say? Reading the room, right?
Yeah. Just seeing what your crowd looks like and just being like, I don't know, talk about your dog if it's a bunch of white women. I know that sounds stupid, but like most menial shit is funny to people sometimes. And then if I like see a bunch of like white frat guys, I'll be like, oh, you probably rape or whatever, and that like kills, you know, probably have, you know.
Yeah. Yep, every Friday night.
Every Friday. Thursday, I gotta get on early.
Yeah.
The early bird gets the worm. I don't know.
Monday mornings.
Garfield. That's terrible. Garfield's part of the Me Too campaign.
Oh, I hate Mondays.
Hate Mondays so bad you commit an egregious act. All right. Anyways.
Well, so what I was getting at was you know, I talk a lot about being autistic, right?
Yeah.
And I think partially because I didn't find out until I was like 37. So it's like, wow. Oh shit! Well, now my life makes sense. You know,
I should probably get tested.
Oh, I did. I have a formal. Oh, you should get tested.
I should probably get tested.
Well, I mean, you just described reading a room like more than I paid any attention to for like the longest for most of my comedy career thus far. I just go up with my jokes. And the audience doesn't mean anything to me. I'm just telling my jokes.
Yeah.
And there's one time at Dead Crow, I was talking to Steve Mars after I did a set, and he's like, "Damn, Steph, like you're a really good writer. You write really good jokes, but notice sometimes they fall flat because you know you should make more eye contact with the audience." And I'm like, yeah, that's great fucking advice. Like, tell the autistic comedian to make more eye contact and read the room.
Well, no, I definitely do that. I'm very more performative.
Yeah.
And like, even if it doesn't go well, I still go to the next thing. I have that energy, and that's done wonders for me.
Yeah.
Like to just not, because there's like a panic you do set in mind, and you cannot let him smell fear.
Oh no.
You can never let anyone in that room let you know. That woman like fucking came up to me. I thought she was good. If she came up to me and hit me, I was not afraid to fight back, Steph. I know Krav Maga.
Krav Maga.
I take out the hat and everything. I'm
Kung Fu.
Jiu-Jitsu, all that. And anyway, Steph, how long have we been recording? I just want to know if it's been over an hour, you know.
I can't really tell without stopping it.
Okay.
But no, it's your fucking birthday, so
thank you.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So go ahead, plug your stuff.
Thank you so much. No, gotta cancel guns. I guess should, or just assault weapons, right?
Well, the Supreme Court just told New York that they have to conceal carry.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Or they have to lose.
Well, you can't really conceal carry an AR-15. I will say that.
Trench coat.
No one needs to look like fucking natural born killers. Yeah. No one needs to look like they're natural born killers, though. Anyways, you can find me on all my platforms. Harrison Friedman at Harrison Liam Friedman on Instagram. Tinfoil Yamaka on Twitter. I have a podcast on Anon. You can find that on all platforms, anywhere you get podcasts. And I have a YouTube channel, Harrison Friedman. You can check out my sets and all that. Thanks for having me on, Steph.
Thanks for coming on. This is a really stimulating conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.